I, a 35 male, deeply regret manipulating my wife, female 34, into having children. I know it sounds bad, and I know we're not supposed to talk like this, but the biggest regret I have is having children. Our lives are ruined because of me, and I don't know where to go from here. My wife and I have been together 12 years, married 6. We have 2 kids. We had agreed to be child-free very early on. But as we were getting closer to 30, I just became obsessed with the idea of having children. We were engaged, and I told her that I would not marry her unless we had at least 1 child. We broke up for a bit, but we found our way back to each other, and she agreed to 1. She agreed under certain conditions, the main one being that she didn't want to stay home with the child for any more time than it took her to heal. She had an amazing job that she absolutely loved, worked very hard to get, and was extremely well paid. I had a job that I also loved, but was not well paid. I'm in a field where there's a huge income disparity depending on what you do. I got to do what I loved because her job more than compensated financially. We had an amazing life and an amazing relationship. We traveled a lot in our country and internationally. We are both outdoorsy and active people and would take camping / hiking / rock climbing vacations regularly. We had tons of free income, a lot of financial security, and I effed it all up. My wife ended up pregnant with twins. They effed up the epidural, they effed up the C-section, and she had an extremely traumatic birth experience. Now, almost 2 years down the line, she struggles with chronic pain and extreme postpartum depression. She can't work at all. Not her job and not any other job. She can barely walk more than half an hour at a time without pain, and her mental state means she absolutely shouldn't be responsible for patients. She went from a high-powered position to laying in bed and crying all day. I honestly don't think there's been a day since the birth that she hasn't.
If this is not anything, it's a cautionary tale on why you don't change your standards, you enforce them. I know the average woman will listen to this story and will be, very angry and put a lot of their anger and energy towards the man for manipulating his wife into having children that they agreed to not having, and they said that they would be child free, right? One thing about the male human is he does not have foresight. So you have to. Whether you want to or not, y'all cannot make things happen that are not designed to happen. You are the one that is spiritually tapped in the most. You are the one who has the portal to bring souls into this dimension. You are the one who has to have the children. You are the one whose body is going to change and can change forever, for the rest of your life. Do not go back on your word. So a lot of women will focus on what the man did wrong instead of focusing on what the woman did wrong. And although there is room for that, change happens because you make it happen. Another person cannot make significant changes in your life. You can. See, she did the right thing initially and she left. They broke up when he started going back on his word about having children, right? And then they found their way back together, aka she got desperate. He dangled the ring in front of her and said that I'm not going to marry you if you don't agree to have children. He wanted to knock her off her pedestal. And he successfully did. And he knocked her off big time. The law of cause and effect. So many laws. The law of free will. Nobody can manipulate you that well. You can allow yourself to be manipulated. And until women are willing to admit that and stop trying to make men your leaders, they don't have the abilities that you have. And you intentionally turn your abilities off. You turn your intuition off so that you can succumb to them. Because that's the only way to really successfully deal with a man. Successful in air quotes. And you eat the cost. She turned her life upside down. That she agreed to have 1 child and God saw fit to give her 2. Just like a male God, ain't it? Saw fit to give her 2, right? You can't control what you're going to have. And until women decide that I'm going to focus more on the part that I played into turning my life upside down, you will continue to be in a cycle of making choices that puts your life in other people's hands. If you are engaging in relations with men as a woman, if you're a spiritually tapped in woman, you should be able to read his temperature. Y'all, I know because I'm not special. The only thing that makes me special is my ability to give myself room to grow and to keep my standards, right? That's the only thing that separates me from the average woman. Any abilities and gifts I have, you have it too. You just choose to not listen to it. And you would rather keep yourself in a loop because getting married was more important to her than her lifestyle. And she's paying for it. And if we don't start focusing on the part that we played in it, because that's the only thing you can change. You can't change a person trying to manipulate you, but you can change if you allow the decisions that you make that allow them to manipulate you, right? And women refuse to focus on that because that takes accountability and responsibility. You can she held that man accountable when she left, and she undid it when she came back. And now she cries every day. She's in chronic pain. She's in because she made the right decision and she went back on it. And she has to pay for that. And until women are ready to stop trying to get men to be who they are not, you're going to run into issues with them. And this idea that you're losing out on something, where are y'all getting this from? Oh, it's his fault. You can tell how women think. Go read the comment section. Women will say, don't let men manipulate you. But what does that mean? That means keeping your boundary. Again, I'm going to go into more details on a dark feminine lens than I'm doing here on my Patreon. I'm going to have a much longer video with much more detail in my Patreon. So join Patreon because I'm going to go in. But I'll say this. You and your happiness is your own responsibility. And allowing men to manipulate you is just that. Allowing men to manipulate you. Men don't have foresight. Men operate off their immediate needs today. So when you tell men that, when you see that a man don't have the capacity to meet your needs, you leave. Whenever you are unhappy in a relationship and you attempt to have a conversation about it with a man, what you're really doing is you want him to lie to you. You want him to tell you something that will not allow you to make the decision that you know you should make. I know because I did it too, right? The difference is I don't do it in life-changing decisions like making a baby. if I made a stupid decision to participate in activities that will get me pregnant and a man get me pregnant, I'm going to do what I need to do. And I'm going to eat that. Whatever it costs my body to, take care of it. That's my responsibility because I knew that I was the one that had to carry the baby. And the activities that I were participating in is what caused it. When you are engaged, and I'm going to go into more details in this because it's a little explicit. So I'm going to go more details in this in my Patreon in this topic. But I'll say this. If you are engaged in raw relations with a man, you are tapped into his energetic field. You are receiving messages about him and the state that he's in, right? But because women have conditioned themselves to turn their intuition off in order to deal with men, a lot of y'all are hearing white noise. You're not hearing and seeing the messages clearly because I'm going to tell you from my own experience. Once you understand and you tap into a certain frequency within yourself in alignment, you can't ignore signs if you wanted to. And it's not that these people have changed or regressed. It's that you now understand more. So you see the messages so clearly, you won't allow yourself. You couldn't if you wanted to. And I'm going to help guide y'all on how to get there. Join Patreon.